It's a strange world we live in. Now we're going to have to get used to talking about Toriyama in the past tense. It will take some getting used to. It's funny in a way, because sometime before his passing, we started to get more into how Toyotaro views his mentor and dispelling some of the myths regarding the man. Most notably, his laziness, which might have been just a way of poking fun at himself, not taking himself too seriously, while still being humble about the real reason. But despite that, despite his light-hearted attitude, he was very relentless when it came to his creations. In an interview with Chunichi Shimbun, Toriyama's longtime former assistant, Takashi Matsuyama, states this about our beloved author. Toriyama-san never acted high and mighty, but he wouldn't give an inch. He would go all in against his tough editors when it came to his creations. He would face his desk with pride on full display. Matsuyama respected his professionalism and was inspired by it. Starting when I was a kid, I would draw pictures of all the things I wanted, like pets. Translation credit, by the way, to Seiya Jedi. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. About the co-workers and other authors remembering Akira Toriyama. You have most likely seen some of those examples already throughout the internet since Toriyama's passing, but we thought it would be nice to remind you of some of the key quotes and even give a little bit of a running commentary regarding some of these statements. It is worth noting that the aforementioned Takashi was Toriyama's assistant for 12 years, starting way back in 1983. Since around the chapter 155 mark of Dr. Slump, and worked with him all the way up to 1995, with his final outing being chapter 516 of Dragon Ball, which was the final battle against Kid Buu. The two men were very good friends, with Toriyama even being a witness to the guy's wedding. Through his farewell speech to the man via Artfront World, he also mentioned cars, motorbikes, movies, model kits. We had lots of hobbies in common. So I remember we had a lot of fun together even outside of work. At any rate, his art was so good that I respected him enough to receive a shock every time he drew something new. So getting to witness him in action from right by his side was a priceless experience. I sometimes wonder if Toriyama-san was really able to enjoy life, owing to his big break. I'd even promised just this March that I'd try to do more fun things together with him, only for it to end in an abrupt farewell. This only further solidifies the man who called himself lazy as perhaps one of the most hard-working artists of the industry, by words of many people who remembered him. But he is but one of many people who went on to reminisce on Toriyama after his passing. Yuji Horii, the creator of the Dragon Quest series, honors the authors with these words. Toriyama-san was an acquaintance of mine from when I was a writer for Shonen Jump, and at the behest of his editor Torishima-san, I decided to ask him to do the art for Dragon Quest when I started work on that game. More than 37 years later, he's drawn so many charming designs for characters and monsters that I could hardly count them all. The history of Dragon Quest is of a piece with Toriyama-san's characters' designs. Toriyama-san, along with the late Sugiyama-sensei, was a long-time partner in making Dragon Quest. Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy, is another big video game name talking about the master. I think Toriyama-san was the one that taught me what true work was and what being a true professional was. I truly respected him from the bottom of my heart. With the Dragon Quest slime being such a cult classic design, it's worth remembering that Toriyama had touched pop culture beyond manga or anime. As he himself recently admitted, he wasn't even that really interested in animation in the first place. In December, he was selected to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Tokyo Anime Award Festival for 2024. Tragically, he passed before the event took place, but luckily, he left behind his thoughts regarding said award. This has been shared following his unfortunate passing. To give my honest thoughts about receiving this award, I had never had an especially great interest in animation. And even when my own work was animated, with apologies to the people of the staff, I didn't watch it that much out of embarrassment. About 10 years ago, I was unexpectedly asked to make revisions to an animated Dragon Ball film, and I suppose it was after doing some simple designs for characters and background that I found to my surprise that this work might actually be pretty fun and worthwhile. Being able to leave the hard parts to the staff, of course, laughs. For me, of all people, to be receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Tokyo Anime Award Festival is frankly embarrassing. Thank you so much. Well, that's Toriyama for you, putting himself at the forefront of the joke. Also, the actors working on the Dragon Ball anime shared their feelings, starting with Masako Nozawa, whom Toriyama himself handpicked for the role. Still, when I remember that every time we met, he would always say to me, "I'm leaving Goku in your hands, okay?" I feel that I could be by Goku's side until the end of my days. Toshio Furukawa, the voice of Piccolo, expressed his worries over her well-being after the news breaking, stating, "Dragon Ball is Mako-san's life work, to the point that Goku is practically a part of her, even more than Piccolo is a part of me." Mami Koyama, the voice of Aurelion Launch, also reminisced about her experiences with the author. "I've known Toriyama-sensei ever since the days of Dr. Slump, Arale-chan. He would never show his face on the mass media, but he would always make sure to appear as a guest on my radio shows and my live concerts to give me his support. He was the second Senbei Norimaki to me. His grand achievement of giving this world love, dreams, and strength is so great that I would say it's outright unparalleled." The other mangakas also speak a lot when remembering Toriyama, with the likes of Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto by the way, remembering his first meeting with the sensei. Thinking this, I set my sights on becoming a cartoonist, and as I followed in sensei's footsteps, that sense of loss disappeared as well. That's because making comics was fun. Chasing after sensei allowed me to find a new source of enjoyment. Sensei was always my guiding light, the man I admired. He might find it a nuisance, but I'm thankful whether he'd appreciate it or not. To me, he was the god of my salvation, and a god of manga. The first time I met him, I was so nervous that I couldn't say anything. But as we met time after time as panelists for the Tezuka Award, I got to be able to talk to him. I'll never forget the slightly bashful but not actually displeased smile he gave as both Oda-san and I, the Dragon Ball children, reverted to a couple of kids seemingly competing over how much we could gush about our enjoyment of the series. Eiichiro Oda of the One Piece fame, who was mentioned by Kishimoto, also decided to share his thoughts about Toriyama. "I idolized him from childhood, and I still remember the day he first called me by my name. I fondly recall positively jumping for joy with Kishimoto-san on the way home the day he first used the words friends to describe us. I also remember the last conversation we ever had. He was one of those who was passed the baton in an era where it was thought that you'd rot your brain if you read comics, and created an era where children and adults alike could enjoy reading them. So this is what you can do with comics, so you can get into that world. That's the dream he gave us. It was like watching a hero bravely charging ahead." Masakazu Katsura, known for such mangas like Shadow Lady, Video Girl Ai, or Gia, which we mentioned previously by the way on the channel and actually takes place in the Dragon Ball universe, was personally a pretty close friend of Toriyama, so his memories feel deeply personal. Even looking back, it's no exaggeration. When I visited him at home or had him come stay over at my place, or when we went out together for fun, I have nothing but good memories. And every time we talked on the phone, I got tired from all of the laughter. He was so much fun, so dirty-minded, so adorable, so sharp-tongued, and so humble. In my principal occupation of drawing comics, we did some work together, and that was fun too. But we spent 99% of our relationship not even talking about comics. As a cartoonist, the things we were looking at, and our levels as authors, were so different that I never paid attention to his greatness. I did know about it, of course, but when I came into contact with him, I never felt that in the slightest. It's his personality. That's why even now, I can only think of him as a friend, rather than as a great cartoonist. And last but not least, Toyotaro, the student of Toriyama, delivered a very short but a pretty gut-wrenching response via Twitter. "I drew manga because I wanted to be praised by Toriyama-sensei. It was everything to me." Now you might realize something with this collage of quotes and memories, that our choice of them omits mentions of passing and death. This is a very deliberate move from our side. We are all sad to lose Toriyama, I'm sure we are. But instead of just mourning Toriyama, we just wish to celebrate his life. Thanks to these fragments so expertly gathered together by Kanzenshu, we want to keep those memories alive. So Toriyama the man, not just Toriyama the author and legend, will be closer to the fandom. There was some grand mourning from President Macron or the government of El Salvador, and while they are most definitely earned by the man, we thought it would feel better, more personal, to focus on those real emotions of the talented people close to him. It's a weird time for all of us. A few weeks ago, we were all excited about Daima and its 40th anniversary, about the manga getting better, and hopeful for the franchise's future. But right now, it's really hard to find words that are profound enough to even talk about Toriyama and the influence that he had over pop culture in general, not just in anime. Like, seriously, folks, words do fail us. So, not to get into pathos that Toriyama would surely hate, by the way, we decided to use the words of those who knew him best. It's easy to say that Toriyama would like us, the fans, just to take life easy, not worry too much. But, death is something that everyone processes differently. Some feel it more than others, even if it's a celebratory figure that they have never met. So, instead of ending on a downer, we wish to take out another excerpt from that little speech regarding the Lifetime Achievement Award. Perhaps one of the last messages that Toriyama aimed at us. Apparently, Dragon Ball Daima, which will unfold starting in 2024, was originally supposed to be made as an anime original series without my input. But as I gave advice here and there, I ended up getting majorly involved. This time, I've created not only the story, but the world, the characters, the mechs, all sorts of things. It will be a smorgasbord of different things, and not just intense action. So I'll be pleased if you can enjoy watching it. Finally, thank you so much to all you fans who have supported me up until now.